All right, this is 8th grade, Module 1 for Lesson 2, Multiplication of Numbers with Exponential Form. So we've been working with exponents, and so now what do you do if you need to multiply numbers together and they both have exponents? Well, if you look here at your notes, we add those exponents. So let's say you had 3 to the 3rd power times 3 to the 4th power. You would wind up with 3 plus 4, which would give you 3 to the 7th power. All right, so let's go ahead and try some of these exercises here and practice adding together those exponents. Now, this one does not say solve, so we're just getting in the habit of actually writing it out. So we have 14, and then we're going to have 23 plus 8, and we're going to leave it just like that for right now. All right, let's look at exercise 2. We have negative 72, so we're going to do negative 72, and then we're going to do 10 plus 13. All right, I'm going to let you go ahead and finish up the rest of these, and I will work with you on 8. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Exercise 8 says, let x be a positive integer if negative 3 to the 9th power times negative 3 to the x power will equal negative 3 to the 14th power. Therefore, what was x? So if you remember, we have to add these numbers together. So 9 plus what gives me 14 is basically what it's asking. We already know the base number, the whole number is a 3. We already know it's going to come out to a 14. So what we're solving for is right here. 9 plus what gives me 14? That would be a 5. So x equals 5. All right, we're going to go on to number 9 here. Now, number 9 has 3 numbers. You don't treat it any differently. So my base number here is 9. We're going to keep the 9. And we're going to do 4 plus 6 plus 13. And again, it does not want us to solve. We're just getting in the habit of writing it out. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do number 10. So let's look at exercise 11. If you notice, we have 2 different base numbers now. Well, because the numbers are different, we can't group them together. So we add together the exponents of the numbers that it shares the same base. So I have 2 6 bases here. So I'm going to do 6, and then those exponents will be 5 plus 14. I'm then going to take that whole thing, and I'm going to multiply it by the other one. So my other base number is 4, and now I'm going to add the 4 exponents, which is 9 plus 3. And that's it. Okay, at this point, again, we're not solving it. We're just getting in the habit of writing it. So let's try number 12. I'll do one more. We have 2 negative 4, so there's one of my bases. So we're going to say negative 4. The exponents are a 2 and a 3, so we're going to do 2 plus 3. And we're going to multiply that by the other set, which is 17, and 5 plus 7. And that's it. So I'm going to let you do 13 through 16, and I'll meet you on 17. So 17 says, let x be a number. Rewrite the expression in a simpler form. All right. So I know that my 2 base numbers are 2 and 17. So we're just going to go 2 times 17, which I know is 34. And then my exponents, I have a 3 plus a 7, which gives me a 10. So what is my simpler form? Putting these together. 34 is now my new base number. And then I have 10 as my exponent. And that's it. Let's look here. Let A and B be numbers. Use distributive property law to rewrite the expression in a simpler form. So if you remember distributive property, the number on the outside gets multiplied to everything on the inside. So we're going to do like kind of a double rainbow here. A times A gives me A squared. A times B, so we're going to add that, gives me A B. And that's it. That's all you can do with that one. Let's go on to number 19. Number 19, same thing. I'm going to let you go ahead and do that one. Make sure you do to both. And then I'll help you on 20. All right, now 20 is actually a ninth grade type setup. All right, you'll get this a lot in ninth grade. Whenever you see two quantities like this being multiplied together, okay, you have two things being added or subtracted and they're being multiplied together, we use a system called FOIL. And FOIL is an acronym for first, outside, inside, last. All right, so I'm going to kind of walk you through that. I'm just going to give us some notes up here, and you can write this anywhere on your paper. If I have A plus B, and I'm just changing the letters here just so we can see. All right, I'm going to get a little colorful here. My firsts are going to be my A and my C. So when I talk about the F, I'm talking about multiplying these two together. All right, then I have the outsides. The outside are going to be these two. Then I will multiply these two, together. Let me fix that real quick. Outside. There we go. Then I have my inside. My inside is going to be these two. And finally, I have, trying to find another color. I have to go to my color scheme here. Let's go there. Then we have our last. Our last is going to be the A and the D. All right, so here we go. We're going to get a little colorful now. I'm going to do my first, so I'm going to do my A. That's going to be A times A, which gives me A squared. Now I'm going to do my outside, so I'm going to switch over to my green. My outside is going to be my B times my B. So that's going to give me plus B squared. All right, now we're going to do our inside. So I'm going to go with the black here. My inside is going to be B times A. And I always like to write it in ABC order. We'll just put AB. And finally, I'm going to come over here and grab that pink again. And I'm going to do my lasts. And that's AB again, so that's plus another AB. All right, now let's put these all together. So I'm going to keep my A squared. I'm going to go ahead and combine these two. So since I have two ABs, I'm going to say plus 2AB. And then I don't have another B squared, so I'm going to put that one here at the end. We typically write it in this format with the two squares on the end and then your combined quantity in the center. Now, I know this is a little bit more of a ninth grade type question, but you will be doing it a lot in ninth grade. So it's a kind of a cool thing that they snuck it in here to kind of get you ready. All right, so we have some more notes here. What if we're dividing? What do we do when we're dividing exponents? Well, we subtract. We do the opposite of multiplication. If multiplication is to add, division is to subtract. So always think if you're multiplying something, you're going to get more. What's two things in math that give you more? Multiplying and adding. So if you're dividing something, you're breaking it down, you're breaking it apart. So you're getting less. All right, what's less in math? Division and subtraction. All right, so let's go ahead and look at exercise 21. All right, so my base number here is 7. We're going to keep the 7, and now we're going to subtract our exponents. 9 take away 6. And that's all we're doing right now. Let's look at 22. We have negative 5, and we're going to do 16 take away 7. All right, I'm going to let you do 23 and 24. All right, let's look at 25. 25 says, let A and B be non-zero numbers, which means they can't be a 0. What is the following number? All right, so I do have an A over a B, which is the standard there. Now I'm going to take my exponents and I'm going to put this whole quantity to 9 minus 2. That's it. So don't let it look any different just because you have a fraction on top of a fraction. You're still just going to make that fraction be your base and still subtract the exponents. All right. I am going to let you do exercise 26 real quick, and then I'll meet you down here for exercise 27. All right, if you look at 27, what they did is they tried to make the base numbers the same. So I had 2 to the 7th power, and I'm going to keep it 2 to the 7th, but this one changed. I went from 4 to the 2nd power, which is 4 times 4, which we know is 16. How many times can 2 be raised to also get me 16? So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, because that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Oh, there's my 4 times 4, so therefore I get my 16. So when converting this into where they have the same base, I have to increase the exponent. So now I can do 2, 7 minus 4. And that's it. Let's try 28. All right, I have a 3 and a 27. They kept the 3. They moved the 27. 27 here was a whole number. I had to get it into an exponential number. And I know that if I did 3 times 3 times 3, because that gives me 9. 9 times 3 gives me 27. So 3 to the 3rd power is equal to 27. So now I'm going to keep my base. And now I can subtract my exponents. All right. Go ahead and let's try over here with 29, where we have 2 different numbers. So we're going to do 3 to the 5th power times 2 to the 8th divided by 3 to the 2nd power times 2 to the 3rd. So let's do the 3's first. I'm going to do 3, 5 minus 2, and I'm going to times that by 2, 8 minus 3. That's it. All right, you go ahead and do 30. In fact, you're actually going to go ahead and finish all of this up. But if you go to the very last question, 32, we're actually going to go ahead and just skip that. So write skip. But go ahead and finish all the way up to here. Let me actually do one of these with you, so that way you kind of understand what they're asking you to do. So we have 5 over x to the 3rd times the quantity of 3x to the 8th. 3x to the 8th. So what we're going to do is whatever's being multiplied here actually just gets multiplied right to the top there. So I'm going to say 3x to the 8th times that 5 all over x to the 3rd. So I'm going to do 3 times 5, which gives me 15. X, because there's an x up here, there's an x down here. So I'm going to do 8, take away 3. My final answer is 15x to the 5th. So take whatever this is, just add it to the top of the fraction bar, and then multiply the large numbers, subtract the exponents. And that's it. So go ahead, do B and C. Just make sure everything on this packet has been finished except for exercise 32. And that will end this video tutorial.